And what advice would you give to those trying to punch their ticket to their last flight out?
I really think y'all podcast name is cute. It's hard to definitely close there, come here, do this, build this business, but Dubai has embraced me with open arms. And just to go back to your question about being a woman in business here, I believe that I am accepted, but I do feel like I'm making progress, significant progress. You know what I mean? Like just this week alone, I closed 4 deals.
Nice. Congrats.
The money signs up. This is what she's doing.
Exactly.
This was a 6-figure week.
We know you're doing successful out here business-wise, but then there's also an element you live here. So how is it just socially going out comparing to Atlanta and all that?
Y'all might get in my business, and I don't like that.
No, people want to know.
The dating scene, let's just talk about it. The dating scene in Dubai, for me, has been very tricky. I still haven't done any of the tourism stuff.
Oh,
like,
really?
I haven't, no.
Let's flat out. Big teams, big boys, right? My highs and lows inherit growth, Mr. Deeds. Went from juggling 3 jobs to CEO like I'm Steve. Never been a rotten apple, call me John Appleseed. That's how I bleed. I can see no other man can judge me. Call him Mike, Mr. International, getting cream. Single mother told me worth, and now I'm worth everything. Went from Wall Street to Abu Dhabi, straight rolling in a Maserati with women that feel exotic. My life too pristine.
Man, you didn't have to do them like that, man. You didn't have to do them like that.
It was film day.
Yeah.
We gotta make a statement.
Exactly. We gotta make a statement. Last
What's
flight out.
going on, man?
Flat out, flat out, flat out.
Welcome back to the Last Flight Out podcast. We're your hosts, Mike and Jay. Please like, share, and comment on this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, give us a follow on our social media accounts where we could be found at Last Flight Out Podcast, except on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, where we could be found at LFO Podcasts. And you can follow me, Jay, at JLubriel26 across all my social media accounts. And you can follow Mike at
If Mike was here.
Okay. So once again, thanks to the audience for tuning in to another episode. Today we have a special treat for everyone. So Mike, how about you go ahead and just let everybody know what that is?
I'm excited to announce our guest. When you talk about excellence in general, she is her. She is that woman, set an example everywhere. She's the CEO and founder of Williams Co International Realty, the largest Black woman-owned real estate firm by agent count in Atlanta from 2019 to 2022. Also, the author of the captivating autobiography, From Broke to Broker. You might have also seen her in featured regional tabloids like Cosmopolitan, Middle East, and Market Watch. She's a loving mother and a true inspiration to many. January 2022, she was also named the Real Estate Expert of the Year, and she's been recognized as a finalist of the Woman of Statue Global Awards in Dubai in the same year. Please give a warm welcome, and I'm excited for this episode, Denise Williams, the broker.
Oh, thank you. Okay. They did a little research. Let me find out. I'm like, wait,
We gotta do our due diligence for sure. So Denise, thank you so much.
Yeah,
again
thank
for
you
your
for
time,
having me.
for
I'm
sure.
super excited to
Thank
be
you.
here.
So I'm going to play a little word association with you, right? So I'm going
Okay.
to say a phrase or a word, and I want the first thing that comes off the top of your head or whatever you feel.
Okay.
So Hinesville, Georgia.
Country.
So look, for those of you who haven't done the due diligence on Denise, that's where she was born and raised. So,
Yes.
being from a small town outside of Savannah, I think that's the closest big town in Georgia, and getting here to the metropolitans that is Dubai here in the Middle East.
Yes.
We're gonna have to cover this in an hour, so we're gonna try to do our best. How did you get sort of how about you tell the audience where did you get your beginnings from, where you're from, who's Denise the broker, who was Denise before the broker?
Yeah, before the broker. Okay, so little nappy head Denise running around, with no shoes on.
That's what we want to
in
get to know.
Hinesville, Georgia. Wow, great question. So I don't talk about my childhood often, or because oftentimes we focus on where we are and where we want to be. But I come from very humble beginnings, and I'm super grateful for that because I really believe believe that it has helped me to stay grounded and rooted regardless of my success. So being from Hinesville, I'm one of 6. Most people don't know that I came from a pretty big family, 5 girls and 1 boy. And so being raised in that environment with my parents, my father when I was growing up was a janitor, and my mother, she was a substitute teacher and eventually a hairstylist. So she pretty much did hair all of my life. So we come from, just free lunches in the summertime.
Yep.
That was our breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yep.
Sharing clothes, taking baths together, all of those things. And so to be where I am now is truly a blessing. Even when I go back to Hinesville now, I feel like I'm the Beyonce of the city. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Exactly. Rightfully so.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
So it makes me proud to just be able to show people like it's not about how you start, but it's about how you finish. And I've been able to make impact with people from small towns, big towns, all of that. And so coming from Hinesville, decided to relocate to Valdosta to go to college. So I went there, Valdosta State University, where I obtained a degree in finance. And I also obtained a little one.
Hey,
Okay.
some people gotta have fun in college. You never
Good
know what's
times,
up.
good
Good time.
Let me drink a little water. So yeah, I actually had my son while I was in college, my sophomore year.
Wow.
So, getting out of my parents' house at 18 and getting pregnant at 20, that was a huge shift and change that I had to go through. So of course, I had doubts and at some points thought maybe I should go back home. Even my parents actually encouraged me to come back home at one point. But I decided not to, and I'm so glad that I did, because had I given up on my goals at that time just because of being pregnant and not necessarily having a lot of money and things of that nature, I would have given up on my dreams. And so like for single moms out there, I like to talk to my single moms because, I've been through so much with raising my son. Don't count that as an excuse. Don't allow that to be an excuse to give up on your goals. Oftentimes we hear people say, oh, I had a child, so I had to stop this or I had to do that. And, you don't have to. You can have it all. You can have both. And don't allow that to be a crutch or be something that discourages you from your greatness. So I just wanted to say that. But yeah, so fast forward to moving to Atlanta after graduating. Worked in corporate America, which I hated.
And finance?
Yeah, it was actually in finance, but it was in ghetto finance.
Subprime lending.
Exactly. I work for Title Bank, so get your title back, Liz. You know what I'm saying? So it was predatory lending.
Yeah.
And so although I needed a paycheck, for me, it was just killing me every day. It wasn't so much that it was corporate and it's a 9 to 5. I just didn't like what I was doing to our community because, of course, they're always in our neighborhoods, with that type of lending. And so the straw that broke the camel's back for me was when I saw an elderly woman come into Title Max to title pawn her car just so that she could pay her bills. Wow. And then she would come back, and she fell behind. And we didn't have a grace period. So unfortunately, we still went to repo her car. And that was like one of the last things that she had. I'm like, you know what? I can't continue to do this. I need to get into an industry where I can actually help people, And so that's when I started to look into other opportunities and like, I'm a mother. I need to have flexibility. I need unlimited income. What industry will provide me that? And of course, I was reading more and things of that nature. So every millionaire I've studied, they all were in real estate or they touch real estate in some way. Yeah. And I'm like, I looked further into that industry and I'm like, oh my God, I can make as much money as I want to. I can look cute. I can, what I'm saying? I can help people, meet people. And so I was like, let's do it. So I got my real estate license and here we are, today. So from 2012 when I got licensed to 2023, now I've been in real estate.
Oh, so you're a vet. You're definitely a
vet. You got 10, I know I look 25, but...
Hey, 10 plus years of experience. My dad's in real estate too.
Oh, so, nice.
Similar to you, look, my not to make this about me at all, but I grew up in a broken home. My parents are divorced, so it was my mom at the time. And then my dad came as an immigrant from the Dominican Republic. And he needed something that, my work ethic comes from my father. He definitely is goes balls to the wall. A guy goes super hard. So
I love that.
He's like, I need to go ahead and get into an industry where I can make this work for me and have flexibility, just like you do, right? And he got into real estate. He's been 25 plus years successful, owns his own brokerage, and they're in the city, fixing the local community. So shout out to you. I mean, taking it back to when you got pregnant, had your child at 20 years old. For me personally, I don't know what that's like. I never had a child. I don't have any children, but you could have really given up. For
Yeah.
sure, right? Like, what did you already have it inside you, or did something just switch at that time? What did you need? Did you feel like you needed that a little bit? Like, I don't know if you were already a motivated person back then. Like, was that event sort of like a catalyst to sort of who you are today?
So I will say this. I believe that I was born ambitious. And the reason that I say that is because at every stage in my life, I've always wanted to excel. You know, if I was on the cheerleading team, I had to be the captain. If I was on track, I had to be the captain. If I was in, honors, I needed to have the best GPA. You know, I've always been very, very competitive in that way and wanting to just really have the best out of life. With whatever that was. And I didn't even know what that was. So I'm like, that just is a natural instinct for me. So I think when I had my son, it wasn't something that I don't give Destin credit for making me ambitious, because there are plenty of people who have children and they're not ambitious, so I give him credit for making me more responsible. I had to be more responsible with my time, because I knew that if I wanted to get my work done, I had to schedule things out. If I wanted to still be a good mother, or I wouldn't be able to party as much as I used to, or I couldn't spend money frivolously like I used to. So I think that he made me more responsible. And obviously it was still like, okay, now I have an additional layer of pressure to make sure that I'm showing him the right way to live life, So, but as far as goal setting, no, I believe that I've always wanted a bigger life for myself, something I had never experienced growing up. So, yeah.
Yes. Would you say it was, like, I know you said naturally, but would you say like your parents instilled that in you, or even you family of 6? Like, are you different from your brothers and sisters?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the black sheep for sure. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm totally different. So I don't really know where I got it from per se. I just believe, that's why I honestly believe that it was just something that God gifted me with. Because I can't say I necessarily got it from either one in that way. Obviously they loved me, they did the best that they can, but they still kind of somewhat had a small town mentality, and so I don't blame them. I don't think, they did the best that they could with the knowledge that they had, and always pushed me forward and supported what I've done, especially my mother. She's like my biggest cheerleader. But if you've never experienced it, you can't really teach someone how to, be an entrepreneur, be successful, and do certain things in a business. So a lot of what I've done has been trial and error.
Yeah, and they think that's the best teacher.
Yeah,
right? When you're the trailblazer, I think that's stepping over your own toes, right? That's what you're gonna learn. Yeah. So 2012, you get your real estate license, right? Moved to Atlanta at some point, right? You found your own realty. What caused that shift to go from Atlanta to Dubai? Like that's a huge. Yeah, that's a lot of people. I'm sure there's not another person out here from Hinesville, Georgia, out in Dubai, right? So, what did you always want to come to Dubai? Did you always want to go international? What sort of
did you visit first?
Did you visit first? Like,
so coming from Atlanta, so I opened my own real estate company in Atlanta in 2018, Williams Co International Realty, hence the name International. So I've definitely wanted to have a global brand, a footprint. I saw myself as a bigger brand than where I was. Vision is so important. Yeah. You have to see yourself where you want to be before it actually realizes, right? Yeah. So I was setting the tone for what I wanted in my real estate company before hiring my first agent. And so what that looked like for me was in 5 years, I was giving myself 5 years to open my first international branch. So a lot of people don't know that I'm dual licensed. I'm licensed in Georgia. I'm licensed in Florida as well. So I've been multifaceted in that way. But international, initially, I was thinking I would do something within like a 4-hour flight of Atlanta, just being able to do same day travel, ease of business, Jamaica, Mexico, places like that. Dominican Republic is very easy to get into the real estate market there. When I would visit just on vacation, I would see franchises, Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, Remax that were already there. So I was like, okay, these are opportunities to do international business. However, the reason I didn't choose those areas, even though they were more convenient location-wise, is because of their economy. It didn't check the box for safety. It didn't check the box for having a solid currency. It didn't check the box for me just feeling like, okay, I can really get people to come here and invest and be confident in their investment just because it's so volatile. Or I don't want to necessarily be somewhere where a hurricane could come and completely wipe out my real estate portfolio. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so you have to think about, like, what does that lifestyle check look like? When I talk to people about real estate, most people only think about the numbers. Yes, the numbers are super important, but you have to also think about the lifestyle that comes with it. So when I came to Dubai to visit, I fell in love with the lifestyle. I fell in love with the fact that this was an emerging market and there was room for me to grow, and I really wasn't much convincing when it comes to selling Dubai, because when someone comes to experience it for themselves, they get it. Immediately. So all now I'm doing is just educating you on the numbers, but I'm not talking to you about down payment assistance. I'm not talking to you about what kind of discounts you can get, because the tone is already set. So for me, if I was thinking about doing luxury real estate and wanting to partner myself in that type of environment, I'm like, you know what? Dubai is the place to go. It's the number 4 luxury market in the world. So when it comes to the numbers, Atlanta and Dubai is just night and day. I can have a lot more financial success here and be a unicorn while I do it. So that's the biggest, biggest advantage, a competitive advantage that people should look for when making decisions in their business to expand.
That you are, because you are the first Black American real estate owner here in Dubai, right?
Yes.
So being a trailblazer in your space here in the UAE, how did you handle the challenges of being the first Black American woman to run a global brokerage firm in Dubai? Like, what were some of the challenges at first, and how did you handle some of that?
And I just want to add to that as well. There's a stereotype that comes out here. You're female. Are you going to be respected out here? Can you get your business through? Did that go through your mind while coming out here?
All of it went through my mind. I would be lying if I didn't say I had different concerns and, like, what will it be like to do business? Because it's one thing to visit, and have fun. And it's a totally different thing to move and live in a foreign land. So I had to go through a lot of due diligence. A lot of people make emotional decisions, and I used to be one of those people where it was like, okay, cool, this looks fun, let me do this business. Oh, this person seems cool, let's partner up. Now I've matured in that way, and so it took me a year before I actually decided to relocate. So that's the part people don't know, because when I made the announcement, I moved a month later. They didn't see the due diligence. They didn't know that I was taking multiple flights to Dubai to do research on the market, to meet people, to build up my network. And that's what people have to realize. Like, I get so many DMs and people contacting me. Oh, I'll book a flight. I literally saw it this morning on my way here in my DMs. She was like, I'll book a flight last minute. Like, I just want to work on your team. That's a turnoff for me, because that is just an emotional decision, because you're looking at the glitter and the glam and you're not really thinking about strategy. I want to partner with people who are strategic about their decision making, because the minute you don't get paid that first or second month in real estate, you're going to believe that it doesn't work, because you didn't even have a strategy to begin with. You were doing it for the wrong reasons.
So it's a long-term business.
It's a long-term business play. So
and I guess, honestly, you make it look easy.
Yeah.
You make it look easy.
I see on IG. I'm like, I want that life. I'm with you. I'm like, she's everywhere.
I'm everywhere all the time. But listen, I fly out next week. So the reason that it looks easy is because I have proof of concept. I didn't come here starting from scratch. I came here starting from experience that I've had in the U.S. So I've been in the industry since 2012. I came here officially in 22. Started visiting in 21. So it was just about applying what knowledge I've already had, skill set that I've already had, leaning into my network that I've already built and bringing them to a new market. So for someone that's brand new in real estate, it's very audacious to just jump out there and just say, okay, I'm going to just start an international company. I don't recommend that, because you have to really be able to overcome so many objections, especially if you're American. And I'll speak for myself. I'm dealing with people who have to overcome a 7,000-mile trip to their real estate property, okay? I'm overcoming the stereotypes that Americans have about this industry, this market. Am I going to be looked at a certain way? Am I going to deal with racism? Am I going to be, locked up for touching someone? It's just all these different things that I have to dispel myths, right? Then I have to overcome the inventory itself. Where I come from in my market, you can buy $1 million house is like a mansion, in Atlanta. That's an apartment in Dubai. So I'm having to train you to think about this closet being this big versus a closet being an entire room. So there are so many things, and you have to have a certain level of skill, posture, and confidence to be able to convince someone to sign on a dotted line in a place that they will hardly ever visit. So they're really, really trusting you to navigate that purchase.
I want to buy a property just from you right now. No, but
listen, we could cut this short. I'm a bad. All right, we out.
Where the paperwork at?
You definitely exude a lot of confidence, and I think that's when you're buying something from anyone. Part of sales, you have to be confident in yourself. If
Absolutely.
anybody's I'm not the type of person, if I'm looking for a service provider, I'm just being a lawyer when you're providing a service.
Yeah.
Your clients want to know that you have confidence in what you do.
For sure.
Right? That's the first base. If you come off shaky, they're be like, oh,
Yes.
you don't know what you're doing, then
You don't
why
know.
should I be trusting you with my money, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and just going back to that. So again, I know I asked you about the challenges of being a trailblazer, but now that we're on this topic, what was, I guess, what are some of the tools that you use to sort of dispel some of the myths here? Because I think moving here, when you moved over, I'm sure you got people telling you, why the Middle East?
Oh,
Why
God.
Dubai? I definitely got that. I don't know if Mike, you got that.
I had people that didn't even believe me when I told them I was moving. Like until my going away party, it's just like, girl, I was about to say what they said, but girl, I didn't believe you.
We're a family show, by the way.
This is Dubai. Y'all come from Abu Dhabi. Let's keep it cute. You know, so yeah, I'm like, I told you. Like I told you before I made the announcement to the world. He's like, well, I didn't really believe you. You know, I didn't think
got
that
the
you were
same.
really going to do that. Like,
But do you think it's because there's so many people who cap in society?
Yeah.
Because how many people have you heard in your lifetime saying,
Yeah.
I'm going to do something coming
Yeah,
soon,
yes. Right,
and the
right.
project
Yeah, it
never
never shows
comes.
up. Yes.
Right? People thought people at least on my side thought I was joking about the podcast. Because they were like, John, podcast? You're a lawyer. Like, why would you want to? It just didn't connect for them in their mind.
For
And plus,
sure.
I have met, and I'm sure you guys have, I've met super talented people in my life who, because of fear
Yes.
or hesitation, never act on those ideas. And I tell them all the time, if you get rid of that hesitation, your own mindset,
Yeah.
you would kill it in whatever you're thinking
Absolutely.
about. Because it's not necessarily the most talented. It's most who has the best plan to execute on that
yeah,
plan.
and consistency.
Right, and consistency and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
People push off their fears on you, you know, and if you allow that and you take that in, you know, of course, when he asked the question, I don't think I actually touched on it as far as challenges and what I had to face is like really just facing the fact that I'm going to have to do this alone. A lot of people struggle with doing things alone. You won't take yourself to dinner alone. You won't go to the movies alone, even if you really, really want to see the movie. If someone isn't there with you, that is a crutch for so many people. So I had to walk away from my whole company that I built. You know what I'm saying? I had to walk away from family and friends that I've known for years and just a comfort, right? And being in Atlanta and knowing everyone and having this access to just anything that I want in the city to now come and walk this lonely path, you know, and it's not one of those situations where I can just up and leave. Like it's a 2-hour difference 2-day journey, you know, to get back home. So it's like, I can't even get there quickly if I wanted to, and no one can get to me quickly if they wanted to. So you're like nervous. Oh, what if an emergency happens, you know, or, you know, what about, you know, I ain't gonna go there. You dang, Abu Dhabi, golly.
they're like, whoa.
Like, sister, you got to say,
Yeah.
you know, relationships, you know, that was where I was going with it.
Yeah.
You know, relationships are strains. You have to walk away from your boo. If you got, you know, it's a lot of different things that you have to say goodbye to, which is very difficult.
I definitely walked away from a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
This is actually my second expat experience. I lived in London, but going back, you mentioned something interesting, doing things alone. When I was in London, that was the first time I took myself out to dinner, and I felt so liberating doing that.
Yeah.
Because then when I finally got comfortable with myself, the first thing, I don't know if I'm assuming you've taken yourself out to dinner by yourself, right? And the first thing you notice that first time is how people are staring at you. And you're like thinking, okay, are they thinking that I got stood up? Like,
especially as a guy. See, I don't think about that part
as
because
a girl,
they would never.
They're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure guys will approach you. Like, can I say
pull
here?
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, so as a guy, for me, at least in London, I was like, okay, it's like I just noticed the stares and the whispers and all that. But I was like, you know what? I'm good by myself.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
good. Like
You can do bad by yourself. Like you have to know that. But until you actually do different experiences like that, you won't build up that confidence to like, you know what? Because I've done solo travel. I went to Africa by myself. I actually came to Dubai myself the first time I came out here.
Nice.
So, you know, most people will be like, oh, I can't go if I don't have a friend traveling on a flight with me or it's going to be, you know, no, like, I don't know. I just try stuff and
That's why your
see if it
ceiling's so
sticks.
limitless, because you can do things on your own. A lot of people feel uncomfortable doing things on their own, which is the reason why people don't move out of the country to begin with, right? Because it's super difficult. I tell people all the time, being an expat is not a vacation. This
It's
is
not.
a vacation.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
a vacation at all. There's real trials and tribulations to
Yes.
this lifestyle.
Yes.
And it looks nice in terms of like the outside, the glitz and glamour, what you see on social media. Of course, we're going to put our highlights up there, right?
Yes.
But what you don't see on the background is the hours that you spend by yourself.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if any one of you have ever skydived, but to me, I related to that. But the fear is before you even jump out the plane. Like once you book the skydiving session, you know you're gonna do it. It's like you got the runs. You know what I mean? And then once you actually jump and then you have that experience, you realize you start laughing because like, why was I
so
much?
worried
It's
about
a
it?
beautiful experience.
Yeah.
And it's like when you do that solo travel, you take yourself out to dinner. You're like, damn, I had a good time by myself.
I had a good time.
I was having a conversation by myself.
okay?
Like, I resolved so many issues in
You
2
know?
hours.
Exactly.
You know?
And when you exude that confidence, I'm sure people approach you like, hey, where you from? You're here by yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay, can I join you?
All the
So,
time. Yeah.
First time I did solo travel, I did something short to Italy when I lived in London. And I had more people approach me during that trip than I'm ever with my boys or anybody else. I'm like, people ask me like, why are you here by yourself? Like you get into these small conversations with people and they're like, you must by definition be a little confident or at least crazy enough to do this by
Crazy
yourself,
to
right?
just to try. Yeah.
And I said, why not? So
You have to. When it's your time, it's just your time. You know what I'm saying? There are certain situations I'm just not gonna put myself in, like skydiving. But
it's like, you got that, Mike.
but then you got that. I trust you. But yeah, ultimately, like you just have to just try it. You know, just try it. That's the biggest thing. Like Nike say, just do it, just try it. You know? Yeah.
So basically, you're HBIC, right? So what do you do for fun out here? Like what do you do to relax yourself? Because obviously there needs to be that balance, even if it's a little more work related. Everyone needs that downtime. So what do you do to relax? What do you do to recenter yourself? What do you do to get through your mental? How do you take care of your mental? How do you take care of your physical?
That's a really good question because it's so funny. I just hired an assistant here in Dubai, and she was looking at my social media profile because she's going to help me like with my social media and some other things. And she's like, Denise, I love it, but you show work like all your posts are all like work related or whatever. She's like, you need more like lifestyle and more fun and things like. I feel like on my stories from time to time I'll post more fun and lifestyle, and that's why I'm kind of trying to be more open with that particular side of my life. Yeah, because I was kind of caught up in like when you're in business building, you're really focused on like business, like this is what I need to show, this is what people need to know me for. So now that I've kind of developed that serious tone, I do think that I can start to loosen up a bit more. And that's really my life. So I'm posting that, but that's like really what I do. I just work all the time. And so like even today on my this morning, I booked a massage appointment. So I'm going to start getting massages regularly because, you know, in Dubai, they come to your home and they do that. And I'm like, you know, I need to treat myself to a massage every week. You know, I don't clean my own house. Like, I feel like that stuff's self-care. You know what I'm saying? Like, my laundry, when I got home, like, my bags were there. They had my stuff folded. Like, that's all self-care. And I also love traveling. So, like, that part is something that I kind of classify. It's work, but it's also fun for me. Like, I like being in different places. Like you, we both share in that, you know, that part of it, going out to eat, shopping, I'm meeting new people, new friends. So, so shout out to Shem. She pulls me out of the house, you know, to do stuff. And it's a lot to explore in Dubai that I haven't. You know, I still haven't done any of the tourism stuff. Like
really?
I haven't done the safari. I haven't done the dinner in the sky. I haven't done like the birds tours or haven't been to Miracle Garden. I haven't done anything fun yet, like as far as tourism wise.
Taking care of the business before the plane goes.
Exactly.
Right?
Because
like,
you know why? For me, I'm here for a mission, you know? It would be irresponsible of me for me to fumble this opportunity. And if I came here, I made this huge announcement and I just faded to black and all y'all saw was me partying all the time, I'm just gonna look like another American tourist.
And people fall into that. We were just talking about
speak
that this
his
morning.
language.
This is my language. This is why we're connected. I got you right here. Got you right here. I tell them all the time.
He preaching
I
this.
was preaching. I was like, finally, Mike listens to this. I was like, no, but meeting Mike has been a godsend for me because he's shown me that balance. Because he's very successful in his own way. We just we're trying to get to the same place. He just does it very differently for me, and being partners in this. You know, when you deal with partners, I know that you now have partners, and we'll get into that a little bit else. You learn how to deal with other people's methodologies and ways of doing things. Right? And at first, it was a little, not that we had conflict or anything, but I'm like, dude, just get this done. And I'm just like, he's never missed a deadline.
Slow pace,
My man over here here doesn't miss deadlines.
That's
He may do
good.
it right before.
He gonna remind you 18 times. 5:30, Denise. It's
Exactly.
5:30.
He may do it the hour before it's due, but he'll get it done.
5:29. 5:30, Denise.
Exactly.
I love it. He on top of it, which is great because most men are not that organized.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, y'all gonna get quiet. Y'all know y'all.
No, but
you
no.
are.
This guy's organized. Honestly, I'm
You
the
are.
voice. He like, yo.
I'm a be, and also like I'm more behind the scenes.
Okay.
Like similar to you. So like on the social media platform, I don't post a lot. I do a lot, but I just don't post a lot. And it's funny now that we live in the 21st century and everybody associates.
Yes.
Like, do you really do anything,
Do you
John?
do
I'm like, I do a
anything?
whole bunch.
Right.
I just don't show the world.
Yes.
Right. So it's just now I'm trying to open up a little bit more
Yeah.
because I do have a personality. I don't want to come off like somebody who's stale, like sterile and stuff like that. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit more reserved when I meet somebody for the first time. But Mike, you meet him in 10 minutes, you think you know him for forever.
Yeah. Mike don't meet a stranger.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
Yeah.
where we balance ourselves. I like to call him. He said, "What he used to call me, your light skinned twin."
Oh,
That's good.
So you came to Dubai. So has the transition been easy for you? Are you still? Do you feel like you're transitioning? Do you feel like you're settled? Like how do you feel right now?
I don't feel settled yet, simply because I travel so much. So I'm still in the U.S. I'm still closing deals in Atlanta. I still have family there. I go and visit quite a bit, and I have quite a few speaking engagements that I travel back to the U.S. for. So I haven't been here consistently for months at a time. No, never. So I wouldn't say settled, but I do feel like I'm making progress, significant progress. You know what I mean? Just this week alone, I closed 4 deals.
Nice, congrats.
Oh,
Congrats.
the money signs.
Go.
This is what she's doing.
Exactly.
That is a 6-figure week. This was a 6-figure week. So,
Exactly.
I'm really excited about just being able to do that, because it's hard to definitely close there, come here, do this, build this business, but Dubai has embraced me with open arms. And just to go back to your question about being a woman in business here, I believe that I am accepted. I do believe that I can conduct business and I'm not looked at funny or weird. I really believe that now they've changed because what people fail to realize is they have social media too. They have access to what changes and things are happening in the world. So they're not oblivious to Western ideas and things of that nature. So I do think that so much has changed. And again, if you haven't visited, then you can get caught up in what you may see in certain tabloids or what you may have heard before or thinking back to 9/11. And just all those things that have created this narrative. But when I got here for the first time, I was so blown away. It completely changed my mind. And I was just like, oh, wow. And instead of looking at it as, a barrier, I'm looking at it as my unique selling proposition. I am a Black woman in business in the Middle East. Why would I not want to be that? Why would I not want to be the go-to for Americans, to be the liaison between the U.S. and the UAE? That's a huge opportunity.
It is.
So versus looking at something like, oh God, I don't want to do that by myself. I'm looking at it like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah. So
Sign me up. Yeah.
look, you're always gonna be. At one point, you're going to be the GOAT because you're the first one to do it. And you're doing it at such an exceptionally high level.
Thank you.
That anyone afterwards, they may have their own style, but they're going to have to imitate you.
They don't have
right?
to,
Right?
yeah.
They're going to have to by force
default.
of fiction, by default.
And
right?
it's already starting. You know what I'm saying? It's cute. But,
Spicy. It's okay. She's okay. She's competitive, man. She's ready for that.
My thing is this. If you can get on this flight and come over here and stay consistent and work hard, leave your family and friends and do this, you deserve to be my competition. If you're going to commit to this, it's hard. It's so hard. So, hey.
So moving on, I got to ask you this. Did you realize who are your real friends, who your real family?
God, did I?
Yeah.
Yes. yes, and yes.
And how did you decipher that? Because I remember moving out here and I realized that I can count the number of people on one hand that asked me, how is it out
Are
there?
you okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's really kind of like they shut the door once you got on the flight.
Or the people that said they was gonna visit. And,
Oh,
Yeah.
I had no
I'm gonna come through, stay with the bed.
Exactly.
You know,
I
like-
even had one friend go as far to say, "Get me an extra bedroom." Ain't been to Dubai yet.
Crazy, right?
So,
Mike actually did that.
Actually,
Yeah.
people say, exactly. Everybody saying they're gonna come visit. No, folks are not trying to get on that flight.
I had that experience in London. I was like, now 1-bedroom
No,
apartment. I'm good. You can sleep on the
good.
blow up.
Sleep-
Yeah,
blow
mattress
up.
too.
Yes.
Brand new out
Still
the
cheaper
box.
for me to even put you in a hotel than to,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? Like, no. Yeah, definitely. Because the distance, and I don't necessarily blame them either, because it is night and day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's 8 hours ahead, about to switch to 9 hours.
Yep.
So it's truly night and day. So if you don't really have a reason to talk, you know, or stay in touch, you know, if it's not your man, if it's not your kids, it's not your parents, it's very hard to nurture those types of relationships. So I give it grace. You know, if we don't talk every week like we used to, we could talk every month, and I'm still good with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't count it against them. Or myself, because it's hard for me to even keep up, because I'm trying to respect their times. I'm like, I'm about to go to sleep, but you need to, you know, so it's a balancing act for sure.
I have a phrase I like to live by. Friendship doesn't mean anything when it's convenient. Right?
That's good.
And I like to count my friends when I really need them, or when you go out of your way to sort of stay in contact with me. Because I'm the type of guy who likes to nurture relationships and keep them strong, because relationships are everything in your life, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I definitely found out who my close family members are, who my close friends are, by being in this transition, this journey. And every time I go back home, obviously you get some of the, I've been meaning to visit you. I've been meaning to hit you up. Like, and I'm like, you haven't hit me up in like 8 months. And you saw my stories that I was out here. You didn't bother to even invite me to your housewarming or your whatever it is. So don't be chatting it up all night just because I'm in front of you right now. Right? So,
and I think with social media, people feel like they're close to you too, because they're watching your stories. It's like they feel like that counts, but it's like, no, like I still need to hear from you. Like,
exactly.
All you doing is clicking
all you
to
doing
the
is
next
clicking
thing.
through my stories.
Yeah. So would you say, so you mentioned you had a son, right?
Yes.
Well, you didn't say you had a son, but you had a child, so you have a son. But
I do.
Did he come out here with you originally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He came out here. I guess we could talk about the transition. I guess I'm the first guest, so I guess I got to drop some tea.
You don't have to.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
That's okay. So yes, he did come out here with me. So he spent the first year with me here in Dubai. We went back to the U.S. to visit for the summer. So they start school later in Dubai than in the U.S. So I brought him with me so that he can go see friends and family and things of that nature. But unfortunately, on that trip, he didn't come back. His father asked, could he keep him for a year? You know, and Destin decided that was something he wanted to give a shot, since it's something he's never experienced before. He'll be 15 in like a week.
Okay.
So on the 16th.
Early birthday.
Yeah. Thank you. And so shout out to Destin. Happy birthday, son. I love you.
Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you.
Yes. So it's been very challenging for me to have made that decision. Number one, of course, raising him for 14 years. 15 really. I'm counting reclaiming all my time. 15 years. And for him to say like, Mom, you know, I love you, but I need to see what this is like. You know, that was heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you sure? I'll tell you something funny story real quick. I caught myself trying to like play with him or whatever, like tell him that we weren't going to be able to get it done or whatever. And I was, we were at dinner and I was like, Destin, unfortunately, you can't stay here because school has already started in Atlanta and, you have to come back with me to Dubai and then maybe you can try your 10th grade year. He looked at me like, I don't want to go back with you. I want to stay with my dad. Like, I want to see what that's like. He's like, I'm like, is that bad to like come back with me? He's like, no, I love Dubai. I love you, Mom, but it's not that. I just want to see what it's like to live with my dad. Yeah. And he's like getting teary-eyed. And I'm like, you know what? This joke is over with. You better keep hurting my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just went. I'm like, you get to stay. And I couldn't even eat no more after that. I'm just done. So, but I needed to see that he was serious. You know what I'm saying? That he really wanted to do this and try it out, and there's nothing I can do to compete with that. I'm not a man. He has to know that side, and now that it's out there, if I was to just drag him back with me for my own selfish reasons, then he resent me.
Resentment.
Yeah, so this is something that's very fresh, very new. I'm about to get emotional. Oh, Jesus. And half my lashes gone on this side. So I don't need no more tears. I know it's the camera fire.
But
like, she can't get a refill, but she got this episode.
No, shout out to being open-minded to that.
As a single mom, right?
Thank you. He's gonna always. You must know this, but being the son of a single mom who's kind of had to let me go a little bit, he's gonna appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. Sure, right? So it's allowing me to now really focus on myself and really walk this path truly alone, and also just like see what I'm made of, you know, and give myself the full attention that I deserve, because I haven't had attention on myself in 15 years. You know what I mean? So I've always been caring for him and always making sure he was good. So still parenting, obviously talking to him every day, but it's definitely a different dynamic to come home and it's so quiet. You hear a pin drop and it's an adjustment for me for sure. But I can't waste this time either. So that's why I'm like working on new projects. I have some really big things going on, you know, and I got to make him proud when he gets back, you know.
He's not gonna recognize you. He's
Right.
Like, who the hell is
Yes,
this?
who is this?
My mom is a boss.
Yes.
No,
It's
but,
so cute too, because he goes to school. Like when he called me the other day, we were talking and he was like, "Mom, my friends found you." I was like, "What you mean they found you?" He was like, "They found you on social media and the boys keep saying how you pretty." And he's like, "And the girls say you pretty and they say you're famous."
They like, when your mom gonna pick you up from school? Like,
Right. They're getting them now. He's like, "Man, they won't leave me alone about you." I'm like, "Oh my God," because he's in high school too now.
yeah.
So it's crazy.
Now, not giving up too much of the secret sauce or the futures of your plans, but are you looking to take advantage of the proximity to the region to sort of tap into other markets, or right now you're solely focused on Dubai and then eventually you'll expand to other places?
Yeah, so right now I'm solely focused on Dubai, not even Abu Dhabi or Sharjah or anything like that, because I don't want to confuse my audience too soon. I think, you know, entrepreneurs, we get so ambitious sometimes to a fault, and it's like you take on way too many brands for yourself. That's true. And right now I just want to be branded for Dubai. You know, let me get that in everyone's head, and then I'll start to bring in other markets. But in the background, yes, I am working on learning about other markets, not even in the UAE, outside of the UAE, just because the geographical location is so good. I'm not even looking at Dubai as my final stop. Like I already have another international office in mind, which will be something that I roll out in 25.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
I would honestly, I would
Thank
be a
you.
little disappointed if you stopped at Dubai. So I wouldn't have expected any less from you.
So I already have my eye on my next international location.
Cool.
Nice.
So what would you say, like, if you had to give yourself advice again, back to your, I'm not saying you have any regrets, but is there anything you would have done differently, sort of leading up to maybe where you are today? At any point in your life, would there have been anything you would have maybe done a little differently?
That one night in January of, I would have said no to Patron.
But your biggest blessing came out of that.
Biggest blessing.
It was Patron they were rocking back. Patron was big though.
Or Four Logos.
It should have been
They call it
four
things.
logos. Wow. Yeah.
Nah,
You know,
That'll
we
do
couldn't even
it.
afford Patrol
That'll
back
do
then.
it.
That'll do
Yeah.
it. Won't it?
Four Logos was
Did they
cheap.
do a recall on those things?
I don't even see them anymore.
The worst thing for me was, did you have double springs? over
No,
there?
I ain't
That
never
was
had
90
that.
proof, right?
Yeah.
That was
Evergreen,
hell.
Everclear.
Oh, Everclear.
Yeah, Everclear, all that
I
stuff.
stayed away from that stuff, man. I had double spring one
Yes.
time, and I felt like I had ulcers on my stomach that night. I'm Gucci. I was good, man. I was like, no, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, college was an experience for sure. But regrets. Let's see.
No regrets. Just read. Just things maybe you would have done any different.
Things that I would have done differently. I feel like I've given the wrong people too much of my time in my life. You know what I'm saying? I think that if I could like undo a couple relationships here or there or shorten them, right, then I could have been further along. Because sometimes, like, I'm a big giver, so oftentimes I find myself always giving and never receiving. And that comes from relationships, friendships, you know, just even business relationships. I've given to a fault. And so that's something that I'm learning now to check, and that you don't have anything to prove. That's what I have to tell myself. Like, you don't have to prove that you're a good person. You have to prove that you're a giver. You have to prove that you're a wifey material. You know, and sometimes, at least me personally, I've dealt with that where it's like, let me show you why you should be with me. Let me show you why you should be my friend. Let me show you why you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that that's been something that I've had to like reel in, and like, if you get it, you get it. And like, if you know, you know, and I don't have anything else to prove in that area.
Okay. I have one question. So since we're on, you know, personal relationships and things like that, we know you're doing successful out here business-wise, but then there's also an element you live here. So how is it just socially going out comparing to Atlanta and all that? Yeah. Are you finding success in that? Are you having fun? Or you still taking your time and like, all right, what's the social scene like?
Y'all might get in my business, and I don't like that.
No, you know, people want to know.
People want to know how the social.
Let me drink my fake Patron.
Because it can't always be about the money and the
Nah,
success.
no, yeah, no, I'm just
We
kidding.
gotta blow off some steam.
I just listen. Oh, okay. Now let me stop. The dating scene. Let's just talk about it. The dating scene in Dubai for me has been very tricky. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I am single, so.
Oh, the DMs will be flooded.
And I've pretty much kind of been wanting to be with someone from the States. You know, my profile is a Black American man. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I prefer. That's my preference. So, of course, there's not a lot of that here.
Chopped.
Right?
95% of the population
It's
is
not,
done.
yeah. 0.0000001. So that's that. So it would have to be, even if I were to get exactly what I wanted from that profile, someone that has the means to travel, you know, consistently to be. It's not cheap to come here, and you have to walk away from your business or whatever it is that you're doing to be here with me, and vice versa. You know, we'll have that big component because I'm not going to be flexible in that particular part of my life at this stage. Like, I'm still in a building stage, so I cannot compromise on that. So you have to be understanding of that particular piece. Like a few years from now, then of course we can talk about what that looks like. So that's been difficult. And then the type of men that I'm here, like I lived in Atlanta and I'm from Hinesville, so I don't even know what it's like to date outside of my race. I've never done that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, I don't know how to interact. Like, I don't know what to say. You know, it's kind of like an awkwardness that I'm still learning how to get over and get past.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like wig, no wig. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, do you like that? You know?
Like you don't want them touching you. Right?
Right.
Is that real? Like,
It's like cleavage, no cleavage. Like, what we doing? Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different cultural differences that, you know, that I'm engaging with and just learning about, you know, so it's cool.
Mike, how'd you tackle any of the cultural differences? You're from New York, right? Like it was.
Yeah, let's talk about your booze. What you be doing? I know you locked down.
I'm locked down, but I wasn't locked down in London, so we could talk about the experience there. So like, but how?
Because it's not Black women here either.
Yes, it's not that many. I don't know. I could say I've been embracing the culture. You know what I'm saying?
United Colors of Benetton out here. The United Nations.
Bro. You captain the passport, bro. You follow them.
Nah, that ain't We do not follow passport, bro.
Kosher, you know? So, yeah, it's halal, I would say.
Okay.
But yeah, just embracing the culture and all that.
Yeah.
One barrier I've had dated women from the region and Muslim women. And then the barrier will always be, you know, you're not Muslim. At some point,
it's going to come up.
Convert and all that. So
yeah,
some
that's
are
a non-negotiable for me.
And some aren't. So that always gets to that point.
But even when it comes to that though, so my concern is like, even if I was to fall in love with someone of that background, it's still going to be a block once the parents come into play. You know what I'm saying? The parents and the families. And like, if you don't have if their parents aren't open-minded the way that your person is, then that can cause conflict too. You know, so it's like thinking about the whole experience. And then what happens with the children? Are you teaching them one side here, one side there? You know, so I kind of think about all that.
Yeah. And I think it differs between each person. I know for women, like if you dated a Muslim man, you wouldn't have to convert or anything, but then who knows if there's kids later on.
Yes, kids, and I feel like it always starts that way. Like you don't have to, but then once you're in it, it's kind of like, where are you going with that on? You know what I'm saying? Like the switch.
Chill. Right now.
You don't know. We not doing that.
Yes. Kind of similar to you, Denise. When I lived in London and I was single, the biggest. My girl, she's Dominican, just like me from New York. So that's what I reverted back to. I remember my dad, I told him, he's like, hold on, you went all the way out there.
all the way back.
And you got yourself, you didn't get yourself a foreign? Like, but for me, it was always the relatability.
Yes,
I didn't want to
That's the part.
Like, I always stuck with black or brown girls. Like, you know, I always wanted, because I didn't want to explain things to people.
That part.
Right, I didn't want to. My family, they speak Spanish. You know, my grandma doesn't speak any English. If I brought somebody who doesn't remotely want to even try to understand, like, you're not going to be able to have a relationship with them. And for me, it's super important that the person that I'm with has a relationship with my family, and vice versa.
Yeah,
So,
and people come here because they're like, okay, I'm just gonna find a rich man and things of that nature. Like, yeah, there are men that have a lot of money here, but you have to also think about it. There's pros and cons to everything. So you can be with someone who's wealthy, but I mean, if you're on a yacht and you're unhappy because y'all don't even have the same playlist, y'all have no relatability, y'all have no, you know, just simple things like that, you know. And I've been approached with people that have B's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for me, it's just like, but I don't like him though. Or he's older, or we don't have the same vibe, or, you know, and I don't feel like I'm being myself, my full self, because I'm on eggshells. I don't want that. You know what I mean?
and if you lead with like 50 cents at this, if you lead with your money, then you're basically on some garden tool.
Oh yeah,
stuff,
for
right?
sure.
Like basically, like because what happens when the money's gone? What happens, God forbid, something happens, and what's connecting us?
And that's
right?
what people have to realize. Like, money is so volatile. You know what I mean? If I have $1 million today and I lose it all tomorrow, like that's a possibility, right? But you're still stuck with this person. So you have to think about, like, you make money and you lose money. That's why your bank account balance changes on a daily basis, right? Because it's volatile. So why would you tie your life decision to something that is always in motion?
That's true. And you be seeing people outside and certain couples, and you're like, yeah, that person.
I already know why
that
you're
person's
here.
not having a
We
great
know
time.
why you're here.
We know. I'm like, come on, there ain't no way. I was like, there ain't no way. I was like, so, but I was just like, wow, like that person doesn't even look like they're having fun. They're on their phone the entire time. And the person across from them, I'm just like, so you're accepting this right now? Like you're really sitting across from somebody who's on their phone all the time. That's I've gotten up from dates because of that. I'm
definitely.
like, I'm good.
I just want a good mix.
Dutch.
Right. I just want a good mix. You don't have to have all the money in the world. You can't be broke, but you don't have to have all the money. You know what I'm saying? But I want to enjoy our cookouts. You know what I'm saying? Right. We'll have a nice house. We'll have everything, multiple homes. We'll have all those things. And I'm good there. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
Okay. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so to shift a little bit back to real estate, conscious of time. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, all right, so how do I get started investing in Dubai? What is that like? What's the requirements? Am I checking my credit score? What do I need?
Let's talk about it. So there are two ways to invest in real estate in Dubai. One way is through off-plan properties, which is new construction, what we like to call it in the States, or resale or secondary market. So let's talk about off-plan first. Off-plan is the easiest barrier to entry for foreign investors. Why? Because there is a lower down payment and there is low documentation. So when it comes to the down payment requirement, it's only 10 to 20% that you have to put down. And if you're American listening to this, you're like, 10 to 20%, that's still high because they get 3.5%, 5%, you know, et cetera. But again, you got to take that hat off and know that different markets do different things. So in this particular market, it's a lower barrier to entry comparatively to the resale market, which has a minimum of a 50% down payment. So would you rather pay 10 to 20 or 50? That's your choices here. And then when it comes to documentation on the new construction or off-plan side, there is no credit check requirement, no bank statements, no tax returns.
Straight cash, homie.
Cash is king, and cash is amazing, right? So this is about an 85% cash-based society. So most people here don't obtain financing, even though financing is available for foreign investors and local investors. But most people here buy cash. And the reason that they can do that is because they're able to put down that 20% down payment, for example, and then make payments over the construction period of that project. So for example, if a project is being constructed from 2023 until 2026, you're now making payments over those 3 years in cash toward that purchase.
Interest-free, right?
Interest-free.
It's like house layaway.
It's like an amortization schedule without interest, but it's a shorter period of time. So when you buy in financing in the U.S., usually a 30-year amortization schedule. And if you look at the end of it, you've spent double. So does financing really work for you? You know, or should you look at more options where you're buying cash? Yeah, it may feel like, ugh, but if you sacrifice for 3 years, you have a property free and clear because there's no annual property taxes here. So you truly own it free and clear in 3 years, you know? And then there are also other options now where they're allowing you to do post handover payments, meaning you don't have to have it completely paid off by 2026. You can actually pay it off by maybe 2029. They'll add a 3 or 4 or 5 year post handover payment plan. So that's starting to come into the market now, which makes it easier for investors.
I've actually seen that because the government's doing a really good job of bringing that foreign direct investment into the country, right? So they're trying to make it as flexible as possible while still being fiscally responsible, because 3 years may be a little aggressive for most people.
Yes,
right? But something in like the 7 to 8 year range is
it's more affordable for more affordable for most people, which is great, right? And the other thing I want to note is that there is a 2 million dirham threshold for the 10-year golden visa to be able to apply for a 10-year golden visa, and that would be great, right, to get the 10-year visa. Now they've actually allowed you to say, hey, you can make a 2 million dirham purchase, which is about 550,000 US. Mm-hmm. Now they're allowing you to pay half of that towards the 2 million. So $1 million, once you meet the $1 million, dirham threshold, you can actually go ahead and apply for that 10-year visa. Wow. That just rolled out. So that's hot off the press, y'all. Listen, you better jump on this, because I don't know how long it's going to last. So if you have basically 275,000, you can apply for a 10-year visa in Dubai. Yeah. That's a huge benefit to being able to invest here.
Yeah. And I just got my golden visa too, but before I met another requirement work-wise.
Okay. And
then now it's like I'm free and clear. I don't have to be here because of my employer or anything.
See, that's the other benefit. See,
be here as long as I want, and up to, and it's 10 year, you just renew it.
Yes.
And so you're good to go.
I'm definitely gonna get on that.
Yeah, definitely, because I think that this is a promo. I want you to know that this is not gonna last forever. Yeah. This is simply for them to double their population by 2030 or 2040, which is what their goal is. So they want to double by 2040. So in order to do that, they of course have to incentivize people to say, hey, come here, come here, come here. But guess what? Once they hit that number, these incentives are going to go away. Just like any promotion for any new business, if they want to get the volume, they're going to do things to entice you, and then they're going to make those changes. So don't miss this ship. Don't miss this opportunity to be able to get in here. We need to earn currency in different currencies. We need to diversify our portfolios worldwide. We see what's happening with BRICS. We see what's happening with the US dollar declining. It's going to continue to do so. So what are you going to do? You're going to allow yourself to continue to be vulnerable to the economic wars and currency wars that are going on in the world? Or are you going to start to be proactive and figure out a way to get you and your family into a safer zone economically?
Yeah.
Dropping gems.
Diversification is key.
It is.
Protection
it is. In our American mindset, we think that we're diversified because we invested in Atlanta and Detroit. We got to think outside of this now. It's time to go global with everything that we do.
So we just conscious of time. I got one final question for you.
Okay.
So the name of the podcast is The Last Flat Out. So on our shows, we're gonna ask this question to every one of our guests, right? So when would you say was that point in your life that you punched that ticket to your last flat out? So in other words, like, what was that moment in your life that hadn't you taken that risk, you wouldn't be where you are today? And what advice would you give to those trying to punch their ticket to their last flight out?
I really think y'all podcast name is cute.
It took us a while to get to it.
Yeah, that's super cute. I really like it. Last flight out. It has so many different meanings, right? So many ways you can go with this question. I'll take it to Dubai. Like my last flight out, coming here, visiting, seeing what happened and how I had those light bulb moments in my first experience here, seeing all the cranes in the sky, seeing the development, getting online and doing research to see where are the American realtors, what's going on, like all the emotions that I felt in that moment where I just was like, God, are you speaking to me? Like, are you giving me this responsibility and this opportunity? Like, am I really ready? And you just spoke back to me like, girl, you've been doing it. Like all you're doing now is just doing it in another location. Like, trust me. And like everything that you need, your vision will come and unfold within itself. Like literally from going in 2021, having that visit, coming back and forth, doing due diligence in my first year, I've made over 6 figures in a new market. I've had clients coming like left and right, coming here to visit. Like it's picking up so fast. I'm in the freaking Cosmopolitan Middle East magazine my first year living in Dubai.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? I'm in rooms where I'm meeting billionaires on a consistent basis. It's just a different world, lifestyle, and exposure that I'm just receiving. I have pending projects that are life-changing, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm glad I did it. If I wouldn't have done that, then I don't think that I would be on this podcast today, and others. And so I'm so proud of you guys. I do want to just give you a word of encouragement. And I just want to say blessings to you. And I hope that this is a #1 podcast worldwide, you know, and I'm so grateful to be here with y'all. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time. Well, why you don't give the audience where they can find you,
Yes.
any events you got coming up?
Definitely.
So before we sign off.
So Denise the Broker on all platforms, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of that. My website, denisethebroker.com. And I do have an upcoming event. Registration's actually closed, guys, but I'll give you guys some information because I'll be doing it again next year. It is called Invest Dubai 2023. And it is essentially a tour for investors to come and learn about the Dubai real estate market. So I have almost 60 guests coming over from the U.S. Next month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes,
We'll definitely stop by.
Yes,
for one of the
yes.
days,
Y'all
for
have
sure.
to come.
We
We might need to do like a live podcast too type vibe.
I would be
We have to
definitely
talk-
down.
yeah,
We
we
can
have to-
take
yeah, we have to
talk
talk
about
about
that
that.
on
Yeah,
the
we have
site
to
for
talk about
sure.
that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so I'm having that. So we're having a welcome dinner, next day seminar, next day property tours, and then obviously we're sprinkling in some Dubai fun as well. And I'm doing an award show for all of my investors, my foreign investors.
Nice.
So we're gonna have an award ceremony for that as well. So I'm very, very excited.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So thanks a lot. Thanks for
Yes,
everyone.
thank you,
Again,
guys.
thanks for the audience for tuning in once again. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Smash that thumbs up button for the video for the LFO boys, and follow us on social media at Last Flight Out Podcast. And you can follow me once again at JLubriel26.
Yep. Follow me at If Mike Was Here. Once again, thank you so much.
Yes, thank
it's been
y'all
a
for
blessing
having
and
me.
an honor
Yeah.
to have you on.
This was so fun.
So, yeah, definitely.
We gotta do it again. So see you guys next week, same time, same place.
Bye.
See you later.
Peace.
Later. Peace.
My life too pristine.
Man, you didn't have to do them like that, man. You didn't have to do them like that.
It was film day.
Yeah.
We gotta make a statement.
Exactly. We gotta make a last
What's
one
going
out.
on, man?
Flat out.